Okay, I think I got it this time. So sorry about that. Definitely had to go check and see what was going on with the connection because, like I said, I definitely took the lessons. I hardwired. Needless to say, we're gonna have some conversations with the internet provider pretty soon. But as y'all hopefully we're catching on, um, had a conversation about FAMU needing to have an NIL and other schools in general. So, we had a difference of agreements. So there we go. Sorry, that thing threw me off. And so we'll just talk about, hey, FAMU needs NIL. We definitely had Ashley from the Fang Exchange on, and she really told you about some of the need for NIL, kind of what it's doing. But I don't know if you saw OSG Strike Zone on last night. I rewatched it, um, and you definitely heard Coach Crary come out there and say, "Hey, there are other schools in this HBCU space that are recruiting players," and he named Cookman, and that hey, they had their NIL together, and we're able to see that HBCUs need to be able to do NIL, partially because one, other schools are doing it. I mean, we're seeing what's going on recruiting, especially when you look at FAMU and probably its biggest SWAC rival, Jackson State. They're definitely utilizing their resources to be able to create that and do that within their realm. And right now, the Fang Exchange is the best thing you have to offer. Now, again, this started out because I disagree with something Scotty said. And part of it was I have a financial aid background. So I worked in financial aid. So we back. Look, baby, I don't know what happened. I definitely went downstairs to check. Was like, did you do something? And it wasn't even like, did you do something? It was more of, is your internet acting stupid? Because I know she couldn't do anything because the internet's in the room with me. So it's like nobody touched it. Like, what? Why is it spazzing out? So I'm gonna blame StreamYard. So yeah, we back in there. So, anyways, for those who are coming back in again, we had a disagreement. And it was an argument. Like I told y'all, I don't argue with people over social media anymore. Like I stopped that at a very young age. Before it got popular for people to be like, I don't argue with people on social media. But I will pull it up because I like to stand on data. And I don't want people saying like, hey, I'm being funny or I'm hiding. Like, I don't hide. If I said it, I meant it. And if I said it, then I probably said it for a reason. So I'm trying to find it. There we go. Me being petty. Um, but anywho's, the conversation was pretty much had that HBCU should not get in the space there. So if you follow Fifth Quarter FAMU, that's the easiest place to find it. Um, but it was stated that FAMU athletes only receive stipends, which I was like, okay, nah, I know enough to be dangerous. So that's why in those 200 some characters, I didn't respond because I knew better. Because I do know FAMU players do receive stipends if they live off campus because you can only award a student a certain amount of money. Like, first things first, when it comes to NIL, part of what NIL is doing, it's allowing you to give the students money outside of the scholarships and the grants and the other financial aid. So, for those who don't know, yeah, the athletes are awarded just like regular students. And legally, the university can't give those kids more money than what the federal government allows. Like, there are limits to this. So, for instance, this is the cost of attendance for attending Florida A&M University. Now, if you want to scroll down to the bottom here, and hopefully it don't get squirrely on me again. But You can see down here at the bottom, the cost of attendance for FAMU is $25,000. On the flip side, that's the most money FAMU can offer a student. So, and that is me being technical. So, like, I'm living up to the line name right now, right? So, and hello, thank you, little baby, because part of that financial aid award includes the tuition and fees. I don't know about y'all. When I worked at FAMU, I'm keeping a beam with you, and I got a raise from working at Florida State. That was my salary, pretty much. Like $25,000 is pretty much what I made. And you weren't taking tuition, you weren't taking fees, you weren't taking book supplies. None of that stuff was coming out. So once you subtract tuition and fees and everything else, which on its own, oh, and the board, that would be their housing allowance. All of a sudden, you start to see that NIL is needed in the HBCU space because, again, you can start to see out of that 25 whatever thousand, half of it goes as tuition and housing. So you're saying these students are gonna feed themselves, books, everything else. And we're gonna take the books out. Let's throw the books and others out. $10,000. Like, that's 2 semesters. That doesn't include the summers. So you'll notice this right here only covers fall and spring. So you can start to see like NIL is needed at all schools that are going to be competitive, but especially if we're going to start saying we want our HBCUs to be competitive in this space, you got to be able to offer something extra. And if you're just sitting on the sideline and doing nothing, then you're pretty much saying you're complicit and you're okay with being second class. So, me personally, I'm not. That's just key. I know I'm different, and it must be something with the FAMU web page because it was slowing up computer one. But for me, like, thank you. NIL is important, but in the world of FCS football facilities, it's right there. I wouldn't even say just in our world, because you start looking at Alabama A&M, what they building, what Jackson State has built, what Tennessee State already has. Like, facilities is going to be a huge part. But we already seeing these kids going where the money's at. I think, much to Ashley's point she made in the last show, facilities, they matter really to me. Like, as an alumni, that's something that I take a lot of pride in. Like, hey, I can sell you the facilities, but let's all be honest. Folks work. Folks take more money to have less facilities. I'll say this. When I worked at FSU, they used to extend the warning real quick. It's like, oh, you can go home anytime you want. We know you went to FAM, but we get paid a little bit less and deal with a little less over here. It was true. Like, I worked in financial aid over there. It's pretty easy. Maybe folks do more work. They get more paid. Same position. So, but in today's game, you're going to need NIL, and you need the facilities. You need the facilities upgrades. That's why, honestly, you do need the AD that you got, because she's showing that she's got a vision that is going to allow something to happen. It ain't going to be that same old bull junk we've been getting, but it's going to be something. And look, little baby pointing out here, facilities should be on the university. There we go. On the university admin side, while NIL is the community. I agree. But we haven't shown the ability to even crawl in this. NIL facilities. I would argue for everything Bragg isn't, as far as new bathrooms, it's a new facility. Lawson is still one of the top basketball facilities. It was the top in the MEAC. It's one of the tops in the SWAC. Like, we'll beat ourselves up real quick, but we struggle to praise ourselves because there's certain places where we're actually a little better off than we think. You ain't where Alabama State is. And I think Alabama State set a standard that a lot of the rest of the SWAC should just catch up to. Because you go there, granted, outside of that campus, it's a trap. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you go another side of campus, it's a trap. But you go on Alabama State's campus, oh man, all the athletic facilities are nice. Football stadium's nice. Baseball stadium's gorgeous. Softball, all that's gorgeous. Like, but I'll say, outside of the baseball stadium, most of the FAMU facilities are actually pretty solid. Like, we got to work on a visitors field house. That's a problem. But at the same point, you got an athletic director who's got some vision, who's already putting that out there. But in this moment, what we're seeing is, much to John's point, there's a new arms race for facilities. And you kind of notice HBCUs we set trends in some areas and we follow in other. We kind of late to the facilities game. We've seen where across the street, Gainesville, heck, you can go to UCF and down to Tampa, South Florida, Miami. The facilities, they maxed them out already. So now, where they've done on facilities, now they got to catch up and say, well, we got to put that back in the NIL. And look, right here, little baby says, I think with facility side, we could have a possibility, have something a while ago, but we did not impede on others' toes, i.e. allowing a good AD to cook and not running them off. Hey, man, you about to get run off again, though. I'm just saying, hey, we could be honest or we could lie about this. Some of them folks trying to run him off up there, too. So they didn't do him right, though. Not a fan. But I agree. Because honestly, Bragg was supposed to get renovated over a decade ago. And now you're just now getting another AD. And if you really think about this, this is your second consecutive AD who's been like, yeah, I want to redo the stadium. Like, for everything AD Sykes was and what she wasn't. When she thought we had some money coming in, it was about to be a new Bragg. And now you got, the Bragg you got. And there was a new Bragg. I guess third, because under Gaucher and, we kind of got that money. What's up, Marvin? And like I said, I apologize about the stream. I think the FAMU website has some video running in the background that really slowed up computer one, but it hated it. It was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not liking this. It shut everything down. The audio, and this a desktop. This ain't even this ain't the laptop. This a nice computer. And it was like, no, sir, not today. So anyways, but I think going forward, all HBCUs are going to have to really get into this. It can't just be just the FAMUs and the Jackson States, because what you're going to see is what you're seeing with Jackson State now. Like, Jackson State is winning the transfer portal right now. Like, FAMU's not too far behind, just because I saw that quarterback they pulled in. Saw that receiver they got from Valley. He's good. My thing is with this, though, you look at the FAMU's roster and you really upset about a receiver position? And I don't know what to tell you. You just don't like the coaching staff because that's probably FAMU's deepest spot. Like, I want to keep Florida boys in Florida. And I saw where coach put up there saying, hey, we can't take everybody. And some of it's true. But you start thinking, Quan Lee, Goldie Lawrence, and don't forget my boy Ace. I ain't even said Lockhart yet. Where's the space? Like, receiver wise, if you're not that dude, you might be transferring to FAMU to play AB. And I'm just saying, don't do that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'd rather keep you away from Jackson State. I ain't gonna be petty like that. I know some good people from Jackson. We the biggest trash talk we have is with the bands. Like, that's our biggest trash talking between me and them. But football wise, we don't have a bunch of arguments right there. It's a lot more respectful there. But yeah, like, I'm just saying. Look, Jalen Rogers coming back too. Let's go. Just saying. And one played against Norfolk and got hurt. I'm just telling y'all. Like, when I'm starting to look at the transfer portal, what FAMU's taking and what FAMU's not taking, some of that we had I think Coach said we got like 60, 70 students who are supposed to come back. Like, some of this, you can only take so many dudes at the skill positions. And look, say it for the people in the back. It's the OL and DL. That's where we really need the bodies. Like, honestly, there's a running back at Edgewater right now. 5'10", about 200 pounds, 3.1 GPA. Yo, I can get you his letter of recommendation tomorrow. But I don't know if he can get a FAMU offer because can he get on the field? And if he do go to FAM, he'll redshirt, which I wouldn't mind personally. I would much rather us take a freshman, redshirt him, let him get his grades up, and be on his behind for a year. And this just me. I'm different. But I truly believe when these kids get on campus, they don't need to get hazed, but they need to get accustomed to being college students. And that first year, get a nice fresh red shirt, and you figure out how to be a FAMU student first. Hey, you be athlete second. That first year, get your grades up, get your GPA straight, so that sophomore year, your redshirt freshman year, you function and you flowing. And that way, you can focus on being a student. You can still be an athlete. You can be both. You functioning and you're able to be eligible. Like, is it important? I could be different than most. I could be the same. But I really, truly believe that if you're going to build your talent pool, part of it's got to be through high school. Some of it's got to be through the transfer portal. But it's going to involve NIL. And I loved, and I referenced Coach Craig on the first try to download this. And it would be the first show. And I'm glad the first show went stupid. Because I'm just saying, look, hello, somebody. Because I promise you, Marvin, let them know for them who didn't go to FAMU. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm from Tallahassee. I transferred into FAMU. Like, I got accepted, but I'd already been accepted to TCC. So I was like, told them folks I was going. I came back out now. I was trying to be a person of my word. Man, I transferred into FAMU growing up on campus. And that first semester, I had to get a reality check. I ain't never seen that many fine women in one place in my life. And especially, it's different from just walking on the yard to where you in class and you just looking around and you like, she ain't got a boyfriend. She ain't got a boyfriend. She ain't got a boyfriend. And she's smart. Yeah. Like, it's different. And look, let them boys get on campus and get used to it. Like, they got to figure it out. They got to get some of that out of their system. just is what it is. Like some of this, you just got to get it out your system. And with the players and these students, give them a year to get it right. If you give them a year to get it right, I promise you, by year 2, you'll have better athletes and better students. Just being honest, like that's just my personal opinion. That's my interpretation of the situation, and I'll reference Outcast on that. Like, and that's just how I feel about it, honestly. You give these kids a chance to get used to being on the highest of 7 hills. Man, please. You can't. It would be it'd be very difficult. I'll say that much for you to tell me that some of these boys wouldn't adjust and quickly figure out how to be FAMU students. Like, that's just me. Bright eyed and bushy tailed. Hello, somebody. Say it for the people in the back. And Marvin, let them know. We had to have a time to grow and learn. You got to. Like, I'm sorry. There's only one FAMU. And all of them ain't built FAMU tough. Like, I'm sorry. Look, it's okay. You may like them. You may love them. But I promise you, ain't many of them built like the ones on that hill. Sheesh. But let them boys get acclimated to the system. Let them learn. And like I said, I truthfully believe we've seen the day where you have 2 HBCU NIL programs who are sticking out. Like, you got that. Like, that's just me. I feel like we've seen it. And Jackson State then went out there and they just stood up in it. They didn't let y'all know. Oh, no. We're not playing. And we are putting our money where our mouth is. And you're seeing where the other schools are being told, you got to catch up. And with so many celebrity hires, especially football coach wise, you got to catch up. Because Sean Jackson, just got Antonio Gates' son to come over and transfer. That's a pretty good get, especially if you Delaware State. Like, and you're gonna start wondering, looking over what Norfolk's gonna get. Like, what are some of these schools gonna be able to get, and how long before? Especially now that Alabama A&M's got a new guy in there, who might be able to actually utilize the facilities. They're gonna have a facilities advantage. Like look, Jordan pointed out. John, sorry, how important these facilities are. You don't think Alabama A&M knows that? Granted, they got to get the fans to come out to support it. Where I think FAMU's got that advantage. I think we already have the fans that come out to support. We are rabid. We are who we are. But on the other side of that, you got to make sure you're putting back into it. Like, you need the boosters to come in and do what they can do. You need the alumni to do that. And let's see, you can't get everything from the portal. You want to grow your players and your character, your scheme, and your program. I agree. Preach it. Again, walk and chew gum. You can build great facilities while issuing NIL deals. Thank you. Like, you got to be multiple. And I think one of the lessons we learned just from the Florida State experience, like look, I told y'all last year? I said, oh yeah. When they caught my boy Atkins on that deal, I said, yeah, they got one NIL over there. It's called the Rising Spear. And so, the battle's in. Sorry. You had 2. You had the Rising Spear, you had the battle's in. And the Rising Spear is the one that's caught up in that situation with the coach. It ain't the battle's in. And the battle's in, folks, were above board the whole time telling you, hey, we ain't playing no games. when they kind of came in and started, they're like, we're going to do this differently. And one of the things they did wisely, they had somebody like Ashley. Like, Ashley's very involved. She's on boots on the ground. Not saying that the Battles End doesn't have that. I mean, the Rising Spirit doesn't have that. But you don't have Ingram Smith deal with them the way that he does the Battles End. Like, you look at what the Fang Exchange is doing. I'm not even trying to sell y'all Fang Exchange today. I'm really trying to make sure I point out the fact that FAMU's got to be involved in the NIL space, because if you don't get involved, you're going to get left behind. And part of it, where we were talking about evolving, and I love that, little baby put up there, walk and chew gum at the same time. You got to, because you got an athletic director who is saying, I'm doing a facilities audit. Some of these facilities got to be upgraded. Some of these facilities may just have to flat out be raised. But we're doing an audit, and based on my findings, I'm going to come back and present you information. Thank you. So now I have the boosters, which we going. We got next week. That's what we do. We have the Alumni Association. You got to wait about a couple months. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't got it like that. And then we have the actual athletic department itself, where you have 3 different entities, and you got 220 doing their thing, who is not a DSO, but it's just like, yo, we'll just cut out the middleman. We ain't got to answer all these questions. We're going to be transparent. We're trying to raise $1 million. Once we raise $1 million, we're chilling. But hey, so you have different groups that are doing different things. But if each one continues to kind of focus on its mission and do it right, then all of a sudden, as little baby pointed out, you're going to be walking and chewing gum, and you're going to be doing it in a manner that allows you to build the program up. And that's really why you need the NILs. Like, you need that because, as I showed y'all, FAMU can only give these kids $25,000. Anything above that, your child that's not an athlete is at risk of losing their financial aid, because you cannot award a student more than the cost of attendance. And you have to be, you're on the hook for the financial aid that's given out. And we've seen what happens to HBCUs in particular, and PWIs too, that lose the ability to award financial aid. Like, a large amount of HBCU students, well, students in general, but especially HBCU students, get a Pell Grant. If you're out of compliance with the feds, guess what you can't get? Pell Grants. And athletes get Pell Grants too. Like, so your regular students get Pell Grants, your athletes get Pell Grants. It ain't a whole bunch of money, but for some of y'all, it's doing something. And I done seen Pell Grants come in clutch for some of y'all. When I worked at Florida State, boy, well, some of y'all be like, hey, I need that max Pell Grant. And made it work. Like, so same thing with athletics. Like, you can't award these kids outside of that amount. So that's where, again, your NILs kick in, where, hey, this kid's got a ride, got an offer. We're awarding them up to this amount. The university can't give them anything else. So now we need outside people to do what they can do. And going forward, I don't know if y'all saw where the university is going to be able to start kicking in. I hadn't seen the rulings on how they're going to do it. Now, this is just my speculation, but I'm fully expecting for these students to eventually start being able to draw a check as an employee. Because, again, as a university, I can't give you any more money like from financial aid. Like, whatever you get from financial aid, that's separate. Now, what y'all drawn from your name, image, and likeness needs to be a different check, almost as if you're working for an outside company. And so for me, in the grand scheme of things, is if you're going to be an NIL type person, that's a separate check. That's not something that should be tied into your financial aid. And the way that your NCAA stuff is currently done, as far as the way the student athletes receive their scholarship money and everything else, that's tied to financial aid. That's why, like I pointed out earlier, they may get stipends to live off campus, because that's a stipend up to a certain amount of money. It's a stipend for a meal plan because it's up to a certain amount of money. You already been awarded, and they're gonna award you what they can award you, but what they can't give you is beyond them. And Little Baby says, honestly, that shouldn't be our goal with NIL. We shouldn't be trying to issue out tens of thousands of dollars, $1 million. Then you can get extra and help supplement the others' cost of living. Thank you. For me, as an HBCU, my goal is not to make you a millionaire. Now, I do love, again, go back and catch Coach Curry's interview with ONG. He was honest. And one thing I liked about what he said and what he did, he showed you, hey man, FAMU is not my last stop. Like, don't get me wrong, professionally I like this, but if I can get $100,000 game against a school like Arizona and then pass that on to one of the players, let's go. Like, all of a sudden, coach showed you, hey man, if we can get some money that's really going to help build this program up, that's what I'm here for. And that's all I'm here for. And I think that is something that's some of the nuanced part. And let's see right here. Would you consider Krispy Kreme deal last year an official NIL deal? I think so. Because who's paying him? Like, and I would have to know a little bit more about the contract. But I do know from my knowledge of what I know about it, and that's not a lot. But if it's coming from Krispy Kreme and the funds are coming through Krispy Kreme, that's an NIL deal to me. Like, just saying. And Ashley says, as levels to NIL, there's a lane for us. We won't issue millions of dollars, and we won't fake like exactly. And I think one of the things Ashley pointed out, what's up, Ashton? Look, I was saying apologize for technical difficulties earlier. I don't know. Computer didn't like the FAMU website showing the cost of attendance, but it's $25,000 plus dollars. That's cost of 10 FAMU. So you take that for what it is. But anyways, I digress. But I think it's an NIL deal. And going forward, that's how you're going to have to pay those kids until the federal government changes the rules. That's how you got to pay those kids. And if you want to kind of take it off the athletic perspective, it's the same thing. If your kid's a genius, if your kid's a freaking genius and they're getting $100,000 in scholarship funds and they send that money to FAMU, your child is not going to get any money, like grant money. That's need-based. They might get some that's academically stuff, but if it's any need-based aid, they're not going to get that. They're not going to get a subsidized loan. They're going to get an unsubsidized loan offer, if that. And even then, that school can't award you above their cost of attendance. So sometimes, and this is why, we always tell y'all, when you're dealing with your FAMU news, come to FAMU people. Like, I'm not saying that other folks are never right, because a lot of times they are right. But get your news from your FAMU sources, because we are intrinsically invested. Like, for me to dish some of the tea I know don't benefit me. And all of a sudden, y'all know all the stuff. And you're like, man, Key told everything. Okay, that's cool. But then later on, when I go back to talk to that person that was my source, then it's like, bro, you just burned me. Like, I thought we said that in confidence. Like, yeah, but I was trying to be entertaining. No, like I'm not. I could care less about that. I want us to look good. And in doing that, sometimes I ain't gonna say it, but also in knowing what I know, sometimes, and I'm an arrogant son of a gun when I know I'm right. I'm not gonna argue you down that when I know I'm right. Because when I worked at Florida State, I saw the financial aid deals. I saw the financial aid packages for the athletes and the students. I studied it. So I know how it works. And I know why students get stipends. And I know the ones why they don't. And not every athlete is awarded a full scholarship. So some of that is, again, get your FAMU stuff for FAMU people. Not trying to like have you become somebody that is, I'm trying to find the right word, but ancestral as far as information. But when it comes to FAMU content, get it from people that cover FAMU. Like, we talk to the people. They talk to us. Sometimes they say don't say nothing. Sometimes they say less. Like, but I'm just saying. And Marvin says, and honestly, I don't think it would bode well for team to sell source. Yeah, man. The more marketable you are, the easier to sell your players to a business. Exactly. And if we don't have NIL, that all of a sudden you asking athletes to take on something extra. And I'll be honest, me personally, look, the coaches are always welcome on. Sometimes my schedule don't fit what their schedule is. But then sometimes it's like, yo, you want a break, coach. You take that break. Like, because I needed to. Like, and look, NIL for athletes, okay. Here's my question. What about new facilities? What about upgraded field house? I do know our athletic director is seeking funds to upgrade the field house. She said in a booster meeting. So, and let me paraphrase that. She's not asking alumni to give those funds. She's seeking it out from other sources and other mechanisms. So, and that's not to like throw shade, be smirch, or like really be that person. Yeah, I know I'm petty, but I'm not. Like, I'm petty when I'm right. But when it's, something that might make somebody else look bad, I'll pull off. She's actively looking for revenue sources to be able to fund a new field house, somewhere in the range of like 20 M's. So that's as much as I want to say, because she did say it in a booster meeting. So it wasn't like in complete confidence. So it's not like, hey, Keith, this is what I'm doing. But she is raising funds to be able to do that, And money is always win championships. If it weren't the case, PWIs who were constantly winning, then wouldn't be paying athletes. Oh, for real. I mean, honestly, I saw a 247 thing, and I give credit to my sources. Go check their Instagram page, and they list like the top athletes from Florida, California, and some positions. You look at the top athletes in California, almost all of them going to SEC. Every one of them. It was Alabama. I think Miami got one kid, but every other kid is going to SEC. Who has the biggest TV deal? The SEC and the Big Ten. So those are the schools that are getting the most athletes. So the money's there. Like, not saying the money is there for you to get, but like the money situation is there. Like, if you don't have that bread, these kids aren't coming. And even at this level, the schools that have more disposable funds are going to fare better than their counterparts. And part of it is going to be, you're going to have to step up your facilities. Absolutely. But some of it is also going to have to be, you need those people who can go get the money. Because guess what? All of us can't go get money. Like, as much as everybody wants to sell you a hustler, everybody's not a hustler. Like, I'm sorry. Some people are workers. I'm a work hard guy. I will work hard. Now, hey, go get this money, da 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 da. And we'll see. I'll figure stuff out. But everybody's not a hustler. Like as much rap music as we all listen to, everybody ain't standing on the corners getting bread. Somebody out here just working. And that's just facts. Like I'm too old to sit up here and sell you a pipe dream. But for those people that are just working and the worker bees, they got to get paid too. That's where the hustlers come in. Like, hey man, I see you. I know what you're doing. I got you. That's where the hustlers come in. You need somebody to come and bring that money back home because they got to see the product. And nobody wants to be associated with a loser. If you're losing, it's over. Like, and somebody getting a check cut. So Mike Norvell did. One department should not carry the burden of upgrading facilities and the field house. And at some point, some of this you got to play the game. To me, I feel like you played the game at the Lawson Center. That's a classroom facility, XYZ. We talked about this multiple times. How Florida State played the game with dope. I worked at the Office of Financial Aid at the Florida State University. That was my first full-time job. The Office of Financial Aid, the admissions office, and a lot of their other administrative offices are in the football stadium. So it's an office complex. It's not just a stadium. I took teacher certification exams at Doak. I took the SAT or the ACT. I took one at Florida State at Doak. I took one at FAMU. Like, you don't think they ain't pimped that thing out to realize, yo, if we turn this into more than a football stadium, we can get money on multiple fronts. That's the hustler mindset. That's this thing can't be a unitasker. I've only been to one T.I. concert, and I paid nothing for it. You know where it was at? Doak Campbell Stadium. Like, free concert. Come see T.I. Cool. He was solid. I ain't gonna lie. Before he got the dreads and everything. Again, though, if you're gonna use these facilities, they can't be only used for 4 Saturdays during football season. 4 Saturdays in the fall. What are you paying $10 million for? Like, you need the facilities upgrades, but the facilities got to find ways to bring in money. Like, I get it, so Larry. Y'all say what y'all want to. Larry could bring checks. He wasn't always the best at some of the other stuff, but Dr. Larry Robinson could cash some checks. And you started seeing the Lawson Center became a multi-use facility. It was a classroom space. It's the basketball arena. It also hosts science and STEM activities that don't just bring children of color there, that bring all kind of people there. Like, we saw state championships were played at Bragg. Like, I'm just saying, you start to see a idea, and I ain't giving him all that credit, but I'm just saying in general, where if you upgrade your facilities and you start using them for more than your own personal football games and FAMU DRS, all of a sudden that facility becomes an asset to the community. And if it becomes an asset to the community, especially on the South Side, that's an asset to Tallahassee. You can't sell me that the city government won't get behind that. Hello. I agree. What if Bragg did host a band competition? I'm just saying, like, and it fits because the Hunter's there. Ain't like Chip ain't gonna be there. Like, host a band competition there. It's about the right size. You invite the parents there. And if you really wanted to be slick about it, they all KK side. Invite the Chiefs over. Tell y'all, look, I ain't about this. Oh, we got to do it by ourselves stuff. Nah. You want to go fast? Go by yourself. You want to go far? Go together. It's an African proverb. And it's true. Man, go get that dude from the Chiefs. They're stealing your music anyway. Hey, come on over here. We're going to have a band competition. We're going to have it at FAM. Y'all can do the whatever, the drum, the core style one day. You can do the other style another day. turn into something where it's a whole just weekend or week of band competition in the capital city. Like, chambers of commerce will get behind you. Like, all of a sudden, you turn this into something that turns FAMU into a destination. Like, it's not just a football game. It's not just homecoming and graduation. It's a place where, hey, because honestly, Lawson Center hold 10,000. You don't think you could have the kids do the marching on the at Bragg and then do stands at the Lawson Center? It seats 10,000. You gonna have 10,000 kids on your campus? It's air conditioned. Like, I'm just saying, use these things to generate more revenue, because then you can flip back and turn that revenue back into things that make you money and uplift your programs. Just saying. And my question after Dope did that thing, why did FAMU not do the same thing? Hey man, that's above my pay grade. I've been telling y'all, if it was me, I would have, man, Foothill would have been a museum. That's just me personally. Like, Kerry Meeks would stay what it is, but I would have got Foothill marked as a national landmark because it was the hospital where so many my parents were born at. I know my mom was born there. I know about pops, but you could make Foothill into like a landmark, and then see about turning some of the rest of it into like some other type of facility and move most of that stuff to Bragg. Like, just saying. I don't know if you can still get away with that kind of foolishness, but make Foothill into a landmark. Because especially with that lot behind AC, ain't like you. Never mind. The same band composition they do for high schools at the Classic, have it at Bragg. Just saying. Like, it makes sense to me. Like, and you don't even have to be so exclusive, as I stated, to include the schools such as Godby and Rickards and Jones and Evans. Nah. Go get you some Lincolns and Childs and let them do their, Drum Corps of America stuff. Add that right there on the field. And as a matter of fact, try to make it something where Drum Corps of America can come to Tallahassee. It's not like they're tearing up the field. Like, I'm just saying, like, stuff like that makes sense. Like, have that stuff there. Try to get it to a point to where you, the city of Tallahassee, and the people across the street create like a cabal. Like, and y'all sit up there at a table and say, we want this to happen. And you and the people across the street and the city say, this how much it's gonna cost, this how much it's gonna need, who we gonna talk to. And you just make it happen. Like, it started making sense. Work together to get money. Because if an event requires a stadium that seats more than 20,000, guess what? Take it to Florida State. But if it's something that take like 15, 20,000, put that mug at Bragg. If it's it's only 3 to 5, take it to the fairgrounds. Gene Cox. Like, all of a sudden, you're working together. A monopoly is wrong because you excluding everybody else out. But ain't no problem with you collaborating. Like, people work together all the time. Like, I'm just saying. Thank you, Florida, Georgia, Alabama bands. Like, you could literally invite the Panhandle, South Georgia, South Alabama. Literally throw a circle around 3.5 hours and say, hey, we're inviting all y'all from Orlando to Jacksonville to Pensacola. I mean, hell, Mobile. parts of Bainbridge, South Georgia. Like right here, you have to. I keep telling people on repeat. You have to have motivating people who will motivate more people to give. That's Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. How many people gave to Tennessee State? Now, I will say, I did listen to the pivot. Shannon Crowder said he would be at the Norfolk game. Didn't say he was giving anything. We've yet to see anybody give anything. We've seen them on the field. You know what they do? My name is XYZ, and I need one of these. They get in for free. That's it. They not paying no money. They ain't leaving no checks. Unless their kid goes to that school, they ain't leaving no money, y'all. They just sat on the sideline, got there for free, and left. What person left money? For the people with status who didn't already, who left money? Like, Prime paid for stuff to support his program. He paid for stuff to support the football program. Hell, Mike Norvell did that. I mean, we're going to keep it a bean. In the last 2-3 years, Mike Norvell has given FSU millions of dollars. Part of that was to save his behind. He gave it to football, though. I'm just saying, I'm with you when you're right. But what other programs ate off that plate besides the football program? It's got to be more than just the people watching. Well, you got eyes. You got people watching the game. Okay. How many? And then once they left, who continued to watch? Like, look, I do a boy like that, but yep. So, either Sam Shade or Teddy Bridgewater, it's levels. Go watch the last episode of Pivot. They said something very important about Ed Reed, and it will probably change your opinion. And even my fellow Newt, Ryan Clark, stated that what that dude did at Cookman wasn't right. And he hinted at. He didn't say it. Probably blackballed himself. Again, they ain't paying me to say this. I'm not doing it on the shield. I'm saying it like I told y'all. I like to get sources and data. Go watch the Pivot. Go listen to the Pivot. If you got Spotify, same place you listen to the Fangs Up podcast. You can listen to that last episode, and they literally talked about that. Great conversation. I got my phone up right now to make sure it's still the last one, but I listened to it yesterday. So, yeah, it's the last one because I had updated yet. Like, go check that out. It's going to break a lot of that. The name. Thank you, Jack. And they said that too. Like, go catch that last episode of Pivot. It's going to break some of that. Now, I will give Deion Sanders credit. He definitely inspired those guys. I won't say he kicked down a door. I say he walked through a door. But he inspired those guys to walk through a door. And you can even hear, again, don't got to listen to me. Go listen to them. Like, it was something else. Time and time again is that the student athletes protested to keep him there. I don't disagree with that. Again, I never said it was a bad relationship with him and the students. I've always consistently said with that situation, he made, and speaking of Ed Reed, the university looked bad, and you pissed off the people. The students play for you. The people pay for you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, as much as I can sit up here and scream, I don't care this and I don't care. No. I need you to follow. I need you to tell 3 friends to follow and more folks to subscribe. I need you to tell 3 friends to subscribe to the Fangs Up podcast. I need them to subscribe to the ONG Strike Zone, the Fang Exchange, the 220 Club. Why? If we can get 10,000 people to follow each one of these shows, all of us are monetized. That helps us out. You get better content. But on the flip side of that, we need you, because the people make this so that this is possible. In that situation, he pissed off the people. You can't do that. Like, you got to keep it, because your people aren't going to give you money if they don't like what you're saying. And as many connections as you may have, we just saw it with our last AD. She pissed off the people and won awards. And when the rubber met the road and a new president came in, he found a reason to fire. You gotta, because otherwise it's not gonna work. I'm not donating. I'm not supporting people I don't like. That's just me. I'll tell people quick. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I don't like the Orlando Magic. But guess what? In the past decade, I have cooled on some of that, because, oh crap, their front office is actually trying to keep people around. I know the names of the players. Okay, this looks like you're not just getting rid of somebody as soon as they get good. Okay, I might actually support that. You're not wrong. She was asked to step down, and she obliged. But you can't do that. Like I said, go back and check that. You ain't got to listen to me. You know I spit facts. Even to this day, other schools ain't the only ones seeing that. Hell, look at the Willie Simmons situation that just happened. Go back and listen to what FIU said. Oh, we had some guys who didn't have coaching experience that we considered, but he had coaching experience. Okay. I know some of the people, and you know some of the people, and we all know some of the people that interviewed for that job that were supposedly finalists. And we know why they didn't get it. Because, come here and embarrass us. Like, you want to inspire the casuals and the country to get behind the HBCU boost and giving. How? I just don't. Okay. I love your belief. The faith the size of a mustard seed is what it says, right? What commercials is he on? Recent. That's not just NFL. I can tell you right now, the other person you're referencing, he had Geico before he had Jack State. He had multiple stuff before he had that. What do they have outside of the NFL things they do? Just saying. Where is it? I don't see it on my TV. You might see it. What's the HBCU band talk? Look, they were at the Florida Classic. They can tell you better than me. Like, I will be too. Because I honestly, I don't want him at FAMU, but I would love to get him. I would love him to find a spot somewhere and succeed. Honestly, that Grambling job, boy, I thought that would have been beautiful. And that brother just crossed Kappa Grambling chapter. I'm rooting for him to get a job. He doesn't want him at FAM. I'd be real with that. Don't ever take it as, oh, he just don't like them. Nah, I really don't care. I just don't want them at my university. Because I know we are. Like, that's not a good match. If Tiffany Dawn Sykes was a bad match, no, you don't want to read it, FAMU. Not after what you just saw. Not after what, I'm going to say it like this. Big personalities don't do well at FAMU unless you are like, you on your stuff. You can't just be bringing me dollars. You got to be, because we've had the AD with the big personality, with the NFL experience. Mama forgive me. Y'all ran his ass up out of there. His name is Kellen Winslow. FAMU ain't for that. You've had the football coach with the NFL experience. FAMU related. Had a name in the community. You fired his ass after homecoming. You had the NFL coach. Had a decent record. Almost won the Classic. Nice name. Didn't even give him a shot. Corey Fuller. You had the NFL head coach. Mediocre record. No big name. Reuben Carter. Another HBCU NFL coach. No name. Kick butt and took names. Billy Joe. FAMU's got NFL coaches. Winning brings money. Straight up. Like, Kirby Smart. He's winning. That's why he's got a name. Guess who else is winning that everyone questioned? That's now got a name that had no name? Devil Sweeney. Like, who in the college football playoff right now played in the NFL with big times? Like, winning's gonna bring you money. Like, I'll let Band Talk tell that. That's a Cookman night. I'll ask my Cookman night that I know how they feel about it. But FAMU people care about wins. We don't care about your name. Unless you win the FAMU. Now, if you win the FAMU, we care. But we're gonna see y'all. But yeah, FAMU definitely needs an NIL. All HBCUs do. Because as I pointed out, you can only award the kids up to the cost of attendance. That's just financial aid 101. So I wouldn't mind Ocho at FAMU. I don't know how much I'd love it, but I wouldn't mind it. I think it would be a great place for him to kind of cut his teeth as a coach. He can coach. I've seen him. Like, he can coach. I don't know how patient he's gonna be with FAMU though. I'll say that, man. So we'll see. Love your faith in Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. One day they're gonna prove you right. Not today. I don't think nobody's barking up that Ed Reed tree for about 2 years. I'll be honest. Have we ever had an Ocho as a coach? Okay. Yeah, we'll see. All right, y'all. We got a stream to work this time, so I'm gonna let y'all go because y'all's got to go to work tomorrow, and I got to do something tomorrow. So, but for everybody, HBCU Digital Network, look, we'll catch y'all Sunday nights. I think it's J5, so I'm gonna try it. All right, y'all. Y'all know what's up. It's always gonna be Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it?